Hey, are you tired of paying hidden fees for heating and cooling services? Well, look no further than Straight Shooter Heating and Cooling. At Straight Shooter, we understand the importance of quality and dependability. That's why we offer 1-hour appointment windows with no diagnostic fees, no dispatch fees, just straight up honest service that you can trust. Call Straight Shooter Heating and Cooling today at 619-922-3937 for your $17.76 AC tune-up. No bull, just cool. Or book online at Straight Shooter AC. That's straightshooter.ac.com.
You know, if you're listening to a gun radio show and you hear an advertisement for a heating and air conditioning company called Straight Shooter, you got to call those guys, right, Phil?
That's right.
You got to call those guys. Straight Shooter. They're actually really wonderful. So, you know, it's tomorrow's July. We live in Southern California. This is right around the time your air conditioner is going to betray you. So call those guys. I really am hoping everybody listening just gives them a call and say, hey, I'm interested in your 1776 deal. It's an AC tune-up. So, you know, let's support them because they're supporting the show.
Did you get it? 1776?
I don't know the significance of that number, Dave.
That was a year, I think. You were born?
Yes. That was my, yeah, that's right. All right. Gun Prom. Okay, so if you go to gunprom.com, you're going to see how much fun you're going to have at Gun Prom this year. It's a whole new thing. It's Gun Prom version 2.0. We're doing casino night. So it's not, you know, a plated dinner and you sit there and you listen to a bunch of speeches. This is gaming. You get to go play craps and poker and all your favorite games. If you're not experienced and you've always been intimidated by Vegas, well, guess what? Our dealers are there to help you have a good time. If you are experienced, well, guess what? Our dealers are going to be able to accommodate you too. It is going to be an extremely fun time. Go to gunprom.com to buy tickets. It is in October 16th. That's on a Saturday night. And it's right here in Carlsbad. So come on, check it out. Tickets are $175, and you get a $100 chip so that you can game all night, or like me, 5 minutes, lose it all. But you will have a good time. There is, of course, there's going to be food, there's going to be drinks, there's going to be fun, there's going to be entertainment, there's going to be a whole lot of gaming. So it all goes to support San Diego County gun owners. So by all means, help us get the right people elected. That's really what Gun Prom's all about, is raising money so that we can promote our voter guide. So please go to gunprom.com and buy tickets today. Okay, so I got a cool announcement. By the way, we got Phil here from Shore Shot in Oceanside. Thanks for joining us, man.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. How you been, man?
And I've been great. You know, so I've been enjoying everything and just loving what I do, just putting the word out.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of short shotting?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of short shot. Just like I said, from the last gun show, we just had one of the people that had the gift certificate.
Oh,
hey,
good.
Man, they enjoyed it. You know?
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk more about that later in the show. We got a couple of people. In fact, our first guest is a buddy of yours. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, our call-in guest is a buddy of yours. You're going to recognize him. If you look on that second page, you'll see who it is. We're going to interview him over something. You know that guy, right?
Yes, I do.
So, okay, but I have a cool announcement, guys. So, as you know, I run San Diego County Gun Owners, and I run Orange County Gun Owners, and I run Inland Empire Gun Owners. And we also opened up those are PACs, those are political organizations. And I also run Not Me California, which is a 501c3, right? So, but the main purpose of that 501c3 is, as we've talked about a ton, is to support our women's organization, so that if you're a woman and you would reach out to us, we're going to make sure that you can afford a gun, you can afford training, you can afford a carry permit. So that's the purpose for that 501c3. Well, I have a really, really good news. You know, we're a kind of a one-stop shop in a lot of ways. We get people elected, we engage with the media, we do education and outreach, we do all kinds of sport, we do community building, everything. And we participate in lawsuits, and especially all our lawsuits are quarterbacked by Firearms Policy Coalition, which, by the way, I think you're going to see something from them maybe as soon as tomorrow. They do wonderful work. They are they file lawsuits on behalf of the Second Amendment, and they're absolutely wonderful. Well, there was an organization just before Firearms Policy Coalition called California Gun Rights Foundation. And gosh, they've been around since the early 2000s, mid-2000s, early 2000s. And what it was a bunch of, the gun laws really, they were bad in the 90s, but man, they got really bad in 2000. That's when things really got bad. And people stepped up and decided to do something about it. So a lot of donors stepped up, and a few leaders stepped up and said, hey, we're going to start filing some lawsuits. And they opened up a 501c3, which has become California Gun Rights Foundation. Bruin just happened, the Bruin case, which was very good for the Second Amendment. And then the Raheny case just came out, and there was the bump stock case, and things are going our way for sure. But there's a lot going on in California as far as gun rights, a lot of pushback. A lot of these municipalities, a lot of these counties, a lot of these, a lot of people, a lot of the departments, sheriffs, and some of the police departments are pushing back, and they're basically not complying with what the Supreme Court is saying. So what do you do in that situation? Well, a lot of times you have to take them to court. Sometimes you can replace them at the polls, and get the right people elected, but sometimes you just got to take them to court. So California Gun Rights Foundation, I'm proud to announce I am now running California Gun Rights Foundation. And what that will allow us to do is, if one of these municipalities isn't behaving, if one of these sheriffs across the state isn't doing what they have to do, what they are required to do, and what the Supreme Court has said they are going to do, then we now have the power to follow up on with legal means. And so I'm very, very happy about that. We're still strong partners with Firearms Policy Coalition. In fact, there's a lot of overlap between California Gun Rights Foundation and Firearms Policy Coalition. But I'm very, very, very proud to announce that I'm now running California Gun Rights Foundation, 501c3.
How about that?
I didn't know we had that many people in the studio.
I didn't either. It is a little thick.
Yeah.
It's a little crowded.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out online. If you go search for California Gun Rights Foundation, you'll read they have a very rich history, and we have a lot of plans in the works, and it's really truly going to help us do some really good things. Yeah. How about that?
That's great. I mean, you have nothing else to do. How about 5 more jobs? We're going to hook you up.
Yeah, why not? I'll tell you what it is. It's like they said, look, you got that toolbox, right? You got the political, you got the different programs, you got this toolbox. Well, we're going to give you an extremely valuable and effective new tool for your toolbox.
And you can never have enough tools.
Especially in this environment.
I know.
And it's never ending. I think people kind of look at it, things have happened in the past, like, oh, Heller in 2008, went our way, so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, McDonald went our way. That was the Supreme Court. Oh, Trump was elected. Oh, yeah, we don't have to do anything anymore. Guys, this is a never-ending battle, and I don't even know. I can't even think of how they're going to try to get us next, but we have to always be prepared and fight back.
Oh,
and of course,
they're planning.
Absolutely.
They're planning.
So we got to get the right people elected. We got to get the right lawsuits happening. We got to do all the right steps because that is the price of freedom and being self-governed.
And this is where you'll get the honest answer to the problems that are affecting us.
The answer.
Hey, if you ever have legal matters that involve firearms, you need California's best firearms lawyer, and that means John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun law, so put the number on your phone right now. 760-642-7150. That's John Dillon, California firearms lawyer. 760-642-7150. Put his number on your phone right now.
You know what I realized? You know what we haven't done since I've been back is the Q&A. Remember at 4 o'clock we were doing the Q&A?
We gave that up.
We gave that up? Do we need to bring that back?
Well, you weren't here, so.
Should we bring it back? Did you guys like it?
I don't know. Did we like it?
I liked it.
Okay, if she likes
Wake it back up.
Oh, by the way, that's fashionably late, Alisha.
Hi, Alisha.
Just had a baby. Had to carry it all the way up the stairs. Dang, that thing's gotten big since the last time we saw it.
People are like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, her husband's probably more concerned than anybody else in the room.
All right, Alicia's got a curtain call later, so we're gonna hear from
Product
Alisha.
review.
Curtain call and product review. Oh, is that what that is?
That's a product review.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes more sense.
It's a boy.
Okay, so there's something I've been talking about for, I don't know, a couple months now about an incident. And I gave some of the details, but I left the person anonymous because he was still working his way through. And he's got an interesting story to tell, and I'm gonna help him through the story, and we're gonna talk about how it helped. His story is gonna help a lot of people. So, all right, without further ado, we're gonna bring Chris on the line. Chris, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, Michael. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You bet. Okay, so let's get right to it. So you were let just start telling the story. You were driving home one night.
Yeah, I was. I live in Carlsbad. I was leaving my girlfriend's house about 11 o'clock at night, and was driving down Coast Highway, and I basically there were two cars in front of me. One was going fast. The other was going slow. I went to get behind the faster car to pass, and all of a sudden they like locked up their brakes on me.
Jeez.
My immediate thought was they were trying to like cause a car accident or something, maybe insurance something. It was late at night. The guys were less than good citizens. Let's just say that.
Turned out we're going to find out later they're not good guys. So yeah, but keep going. So what happened next?
So I basically tried to go around them. They swerved at me. My next turn was my street. I'm about a mile and a half from my house at this point. So, and this is on Coast Highway. So I tell myself, well, I'm going to turn up my street, which is Tamarack, and I'm going to basically, I was sitting at the red light, and these guys were kind of pulling up aggressively after they swerved at me. So I told myself I was going to go through the red light and see if these guys were following me. So sure enough, I went through the red light. These guys instantly pull up beside me, start yelling out the window about they have guns and they're gonna basically I better watch out. Just a bunch of blah blah about how they were gonna kill me and this stuff and that. So they're following me. I go through one light. I get caught at the second light. There's a freeway right there, the 5 freeway. There was a semi getting off the freeway, so I got stuck at the red light. And these guys pull up next to me. Long story short, before that, they had thrown something at my car after they were wielding the gun threats. So I'm sitting at the light, and the guy pulls up next to me, gets out of his car, and tries to open my door.
Okay, so they were threatening you, saying they had guns. They threw a bottle at you, which hit your car extremely hard, and you thought might even be gunfire, right?
Yeah, because they were saying how they were from Montana, and I don't want to mess with them. I mean, they were wielding all sorts of threats out there, and they were gun threats.
So after running a red light to catch up to you and threatening you and throwing something at you, you thought you might even be being shot at. He runs up to your window, and then what?
And basically, at that point, after the gun threats came out, I had my I have a CCW, so I had my weapon on me, and I just kind of casually had it sitting on the seat, and I really didn't think much of it. I thought I was just maybe some drunk guys or something being idiots until they jumped out at the light at me. And right before the light was when the bottle hit my car. So it was like maybe 2 seconds that I went from like, oh, these guys are talking smack to, wow, these guys are actually really going to do something.
You thought you were in big trouble.
I thought I was in some big trouble, and it all happened so fast. At first, I just thought, like I said, I thought these guys were knuckleheads just starting problems, and until the guy basically put his car in park and got out of his car and tried to open my door. And at that point, I basically pulled out my pistol and I pointed at him. I said, so many words, you're not going to do this to me. Maybe not as polite, but yeah. And then at that point, the semi was out of the way and I put my car into gear and I basically took off.
So you didn't,
this point, about a half mile.
You didn't provoke this situation, even after they started threatening and coming after you and running a red light just to track you down. You still were trying to avoid the situation. You had your gun at the ready. You thought you might actually have even were shot at. This guy came up and you brandished and told him to get away, and then he backed off, and as soon as you were able, you got out of the way. I mean, so far, you're doing everything right. You know what I mean? Like you're not provoking. You're trying to get out of there. You're not overreacting. Okay, so then what happened?
Not at all. De-escalate, escape, and avoid, right?
Yeah.
So I was just basically trying to get home, and that's all I was trying to do that night. And then after that, it was just kind of a split second. I don't know if this guy changed his mind once he saw my gun, or he seemed pretty headstrong on what he was trying to do. So I'm not sure even that changed his mind. And that was something that was a little bit also where it hit me in the head, where I'm like, wow, I actually might have to do something about this if this guy takes a few more steps. Luckily, there was a semi getting off the freeway. Like I said, I was able to get my car in gear and kind of get going. And then they were following me. And this point, I'm about a half mile away from my house, a couple blocks away. And I decided to turn basically through the car country Carlsbad, and I'm thinking, I'm going to lose these guys a little bit. I got caught at another couple lights, and these guys are just still following me, and it's not a very high-speed zone. It's like 25-mile-an-hour area, so I really couldn't get enough speed to get away from these guys, but I was still trying to get away from them. And, got caught at another light, and at that point, I believe they called 911, and that was kind of the saving grace, because I think they called 911 and they thought they were going to just drop an anonymous tip line about this, guy that had a gun and all this stuff, and didn't really want to say what they were doing.
They called 911 and said, "Hey, there's a guy with a gun, and he's in this car, and here's where we are," and so the cops could find you. Is that what happened?
Yeah, which ended up kind of being the saving grace of the story. I'll bring that up at the end, but. Yeah, basically they pulled up next to me again, and at this point I was kind of, seeing red. I was, just scared and trying to get away and do everything I could not to have to use my gun, because the guys pulled up on me again, and I was almost sure with their threats and that bottle hitting my car. I didn't know it was a bottle until the next day, until I saw the glass that had hit my car. But, I'm thinking that, this is all these days I've been training for. This is really going to happen right now. And at that point, they were wielding more threats about, something to the extent of they pull guns on people for a living, and they were saying everything they could just to kind of intimidate, at that point. And I was surprised, because they knew I had a gun. So I assumed at this point, if they were chasing me, they must have a gun as well. So I was able to get away. My car was a little faster than theirs. So after they pulled up onto me the second time, they were on the phone with 911. I didn't know this, and I just thought to myself after the second time that they pulled up next to me, I was like, well, I just got to, ditch these guys the best I can. So I basically did so. I ran a couple red lights myself and dropped it into gear, and I ended up getting away from about maybe 2 or 3 minutes of them chasing me.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's speed forward a little bit. So eventually police did come and investigate, and they actually arrested you, right?
Yeah, which was I thought that maybe there was another pedestrian or maybe another car that had called 911. I was about a block away from my house at this point, about to turn on my street, and I just see the lights coming from there's two main streets where I live off of El Camino, and basically there's basically the sky was full of blue and red lights at this point. And so I pulled over and got out of the car, and of course they all were, the cops got a call from these guys, so they were doing what they could to protect themselves. They pulled me out of the car doing a felony stop and all that stuff, and I was arrested.
You were arrested. They took your gun. They did send you home, but they took your gun, right?
Yeah, they took my gun, and they actually booked me into Vista County Jail for assault with a deadly weapon and brandishing a weapon at a moving vehicle.
And one of the things that we've been talking about is that they're using gun violence restraining orders as standard operating procedure anytime a gun is involved, rather than as a red flag law. And that's exactly what happened in this case. Carlsbad filed a gun violence restraining order against you, right?
Absolutely.
Sent you, by the way, took your gun, sent you home to all of your guns.
No, put him in jail.
You got out. When did you get out of jail?
No, they took me to jail that night. When I got pulled over, they didn't want to hear anything I had to say about the situation. They were investigating it for about, my attorney got into it. They arrested me at 11 o'clock. They had me booked into jail at 11:45. So you would think with Carlsbad Police Department, they would have done some due diligence and take a little bit of time to invest a crime that was evidently so serious. So, yeah, I was booked into this detention facility, charged with multiple felonies, and had a really, really high bail. And I was working my way on, once I was in jail, trying to bail myself out, and I was able to do so. And once I got bailed out, a deputy walked up to the door with a big packet of papers and served me with something that I had heard about many times, but I had never actually seen it in person, which was a GVRO, Gun Violence Emergency Restraining Order, which said that I had 48 hours from the time of release to show receipt that I turned in all my guns, and I had 24 hours to actually turn in my gun.
Okay,
So
and from there, so now you have a gun violence restraining order. You had gun felony charges against you, and they sent you home. And let me ask you, when you got home after all that and knew all that, how did you feel?
Really bad. I mean, the only reason I got out of jail is because I bailed out of jail,
right.
And so they weren't sending me home by any means. But I got home, and once they served me with this GVRO, of course I took it pretty seriously. The clock was ticking. It said I had 24 hours to surrender my gun, and I was in custody for a good 12 hours.
Hey, you want to learn to fly?
Yes.
Want to get a pilot's license?
Sure.
Well, San Diego is the best place to get an airplane pilot's license because pilots can fly almost every day. And San Diego Flight Training International is the best school to get your license. Give them a call at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly with SDFTI, 858-569-1822.
Okay, we're going to finish up with Chris and his story. At this point, you're back at home. You'd bailed yourself out. You only had a limited amount of time to get rid of your guns. But let's skip to what happened after. You obtained an attorney, Gary Gibson, and then you found out you had two fights on your hands. Now you had the felonies, number one, and the gun violence restraining order, number two. Those are basically two separate fights, right?
Absolutely. The Carlsbad city attorney was pressing charges. I didn't even know they could do this. Basically, we're pressing charges. We're filing GVRO against me. And then, yes, the county picked up the case and was prosecuting me for the felonies that I was charged with. And also added enhancements for using a semi-automatic firearm in commission of a felony, which has like a 9-year mandatory minimum or something crazy.
Yeah, you were looking at you were looking at being a felon, which means you can't vote, you can't own guns, you can't get a government job. I mean, you would have been a felon for life, and you potentially could have spent years in jail over this.
Yeah.
And the district attorney looked at it and said, "This guy's a CCW holder. Everything they did, this is a defensive gun use clearly." And dropped everything, right?
Yeah, eventually, everything was dropped after about 4 months of the court process. And just wanted to say thanks to you because you were one of my first calls on what I should do. And you referred me to Gary, and Gary was
a pit bull.
Absolutely awesome through this whole process. Gary Gibson is, I owe it all to him. He really, and you, Michael. He really just helped everything. He explained the process and helped me get through this. Eventually, he got the charges all dropped once they got the 911 call. The guys basically that were chasing me thought that they had hung up the phone, but they didn't at a certain part, and they were basically on the 911 call talking about ditching the gun, how they pull guns on people for a living. The second time they pulled up next to me, they were actually on the phone with the 911 operator. And I would have thought that Carlsbad police would have done their due diligence and listened to a 911 call before they filed such serious charges on anybody. But they didn't. They just listened to their story. They didn't even ask me if I had a CCW. And basically, booked me in jail with all those charges.
And the gun violence restraining order, when you went in front of the judge, he just basically said, there's no need for a gun violence restraining order. Get out of my courtroom. Right?
Yeah. Well, thank God Gary was able to do his magic, and the only reason they wanted to trail the GVRO, obviously the GVRO would never been instated if the criminal charges were dropped. So they made an agreement with Gary, my attorney, that basically if the charges were criminally dropped, that they would consider dropping the gun violence restraining order against me.
Okay. So all the charges were dropped. The gun violence restraining order, the temporary gun violence restraining order, didn't turn into a 2 or 3 year gun violence restraining order. So you're in the clear. You went back to the sheriff and said, all right, I need to get my CCW back. Everything was totally, the gun violence restraining order never should have happened. The charges were completely dropped. It was not a violation of the law. It was clearly a gun violence or a defensive gun use situation. And what happened when you tried to get your CCW back?
So they took my license in November of 23. By the time, it was a few months later, time everything was resolved through the court, it was about, I think, late February, by the time the GVRO was finally dismissed. The detective that came to gather my CCW after I was arrested to revoke it told me, if all these are dismissed, call me and I'll give you your CCW back. So I did exactly that. Once everything was dismissed, the GVRO was gone. I sent them all the affidavits and court transcripts that they wanted, and they told me, sorry, we're not going to return your CCW. And since your incident, SB2 has gone into effect, and SB2 states that anybody that has any type of restraining order actually cannot have a CCW for 5 years, even if they're not a prohibited possessor of firearms.
Yeah, even if the gun violence restraining order never should have happened. Even if the gun violence restraining order never should have happened, you still lose your CCW for 5 years. That was written into SB2. And what happened? Yeah. So Gary took that case, went in front of a judge, and the judge, basically said, "Hey, this, there was no due process. It was basically an accusation." And they took his carry permit away, and now he can't even get it back for 5 years. This is completely unconstitutional. And the judge agreed, and the judge agreed so much that she actually wrote a decision, which is unusual at this level. They don't typically write decisions at this level. When what we're used to reading Supreme Court decisions, of course they write 100-page decisions all the time. But at the level where Chris was and where Gary was, they don't typically, they just say, thumbs up, thumbs down. They don't typically do a whole decision. But she saw how important it was, and boom, you got your CCW back. Basically, the judge said, yeah, this is unconstitutional. Yeah. You need to get a CCW back. What SB2 is doing is wrong. And you got your CCW back, right?
Yeah, but I did have to file a lawsuit. I had to file a lawsuit against the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Gary was awesome in helping me with that as well. You too. And after a couple days in court, they made us come back about 30 days later, and then the judge had actually a 14-page decision, which, like you said, is very uncommon in that level of court. But yeah, she agreed that SB2 was, in my case, I don't know about every other, mine uniquely was unconstitutional because I never had a GVRO issued against me, and you don't have the right to participate in any type of emergency protection order. Anybody can go get an emergency protection order on anybody theoretically, as long as someone's willing to write a declaration and say whatever they need to get the court to side with them. So the judge made a decision that basically that it was unconstitutional due to the fact that I did not have the right to participate in the original emergency GVRO that was issued against me.
Excellent.
So Chris, did they catch the other guys?
No.
There's nothing to catch, Dave.
But I mean, they were on the 911 call.
Yeah, but what law did they break?
They evidently.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot of laws that they, could have broken. But I don't think the cops at that point. I was the suspect. They were the victims. And at that point, I don't think once the cops submit the police report, and that's kind of the problem with the system, they shoot these police reports down the pipeline, and it's just there's no real repercussions, and they don't really look at it, or they don't look at the victim and say, well, these victims might have been the suspect, because these guys were obviously lying. And thank God that the 911 tape was actually the first exhibit that we requested, and that was when the DA decided to dismiss the case was when they heard the 911 tape, because these guys were talking about ditching a gun, how they pull guns on people for a living. And strange enough, too, after they say somebody just strangely pulled a gun on them for no reason, they didn't want to even sit around and talk to the cops.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, maybe you could say that, they filed a false police report. But the reason I bring that up is this wasn't necessarily a bad guy and good guy situation. I mean, these guys did something wrong, but nothing provable. It's kind of his word against your word. And that makes it an even more important story to tell, because anybody can do these gun violence restraining orders. There's not nearly enough protection for gun owners on these gun violence restraining orders. Carlsbad, the PD, should have done a much better job investigating this thing. You cannot rely. Let's talk about some lessons learned. I think lesson number one, and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong, Chris, but lesson number one, always be the first person to call 911.
That was going to be my first lesson as well, and I agree with you 100%, Michael.
100%. Always be the first person to call 911. Lesson number two is cops aren't your friends. Now that sounds like a harsh statement, but I'm not saying they're your enemy either. What I'm saying is the cops showed up, and all they know is they got a guy on 911 saying, hey, this other guy's got a gun. And when they show up, sure enough, there's a guy with a gun. So it's not like I think that we're all fine, upstanding people, gun owners that were CCWs. And we think that police have this magic ability to say, oh, clearly this is a good guy. Mm-hmm. And it's just not true. You cannot rely on the benevolence of a police officer. Oh, well, hey, I clearly see the story here. Of course, this is the good guy. You have a CCW. You're a good guy. Everything's going to go well for you. No, you cannot rely. So police officers are not your friends is lesson number two.
When they get a call, you're either there's two roles in a 911 call. There's the suspect and there's the victim. There's only two roles. There's room for two roles and two roles only.
And it's not uncommon for that.
The person that beats you to 911 is generally the victim, and the person that's on the other end is the suspect.
And even then, once they arrive, it's not uncommon for the perpetrator to pretend to be the victim. So it's really difficult to decipher.
It's like, remember when you were a kid, if your kids, you learn quick that if you're the first one to cry, the mom's going to hit the other one, right?
Not wrong.
Yeah. So it's the same thing here. And then I think lesson number three, and maybe there's another lesson here, Chris, but real quick, lesson number three is you've got to everybody, I'm talking to everybody here. If you have a CCW especially, you've got to get one of these services like USCCA or something to help cover you when it comes time to defend yourself when you are under offensive gun use. Because here we have an example of Chris pretty much doing everything as right as he could considering the situation, and it still cost him financially. He still had to get a lawyer. He still had to go to court. He still had to get his gun back. He still had to bail out of jail. He still had to do all these things, and all he was doing was driving home from his girlfriend's. You know what, Chris? We ran out of time. Thank you so much for coming on and telling your story. You did a great job. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Michael, and I really appreciate you, and thanks for all your help in my situation. I can't thank you and San Diego County gun owners enough. You guys have all been awesome, and we support you guys till the day I die.
Hey, if you want gear at an affordable price, check out Condor Outdoors. Whether you're a military professional, law enforcement officer, or simply an avid outdoorsman, Condor products are designed to be versatile, durable, and above all, reliable. So if you're looking for the best in tactical gear, look no further than Condor Outdoor. Use code GOR for a 15% discount off the website, CondorOutdoor.com. Use code GOR for a 15% discount.
Isn't that a crazy story?
I already told you what I'd have done.
You're infuriated, I know.
If he'd have walked up to my door,
Dave,
I would have gave him a candy bar just to make him go away.
I got to tell you, just real quick, and then Alisha's got something cool for us. So we just heard this whole story kind of beginning to end as much as we could. Some of the details we didn't have the time to fit in. But being in this story from beginning to end, not knowing how it was going to end, and watching everything, you're hoping things are going to go your way. You're hoping it was pretty crazy. And I'm really glad that Chris worked through this, and he did everything right. And congratulations to him. But man, this was This was I lost some sleep. I'll be totally frank. I lost some sleep. I was really worried for Chris for a while, and this illustrates everything I've been complaining about these gun monster restraining orders. So it's not. This is real world stuff. This isn't like I don't know, man. Maybe a meteor might fall out of the sky. No, these gun monster restraining orders are absolutely hurting people in their present form and the way they're being done. I think that there's an attitude in San Diego against CCW holders still that we're working on changing. And but we saw some progress here. So anyway, all right. So Alisha, what are we doing?
So we have a little product I picked up at the gun show. Like many other gun-loving San Diegans, took the time. Dave's helping me assemble it right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Don't give me any IKEA furniture. And so, I browsed the gun show and I kind of picked up a product that kind of caught my eye, and it's kind of ironic and funny, kind of how it came about. So I was there at the gun show and I was kind of walking down the aisles and just kind of taking a look at everything that was there. And I actually saw a sign, and I will tell you, the advertisement, the gimmick got me. And I'm kind of glad it did. It's a lot of fun. It is a gun cleaning mat, and his little sign that he had posted is, "Why are you using an oversized mouse pad to clean your guns?" And I thought, you know what? I've actually kind of had that thought myself. If you go out and you look at all of these gun cleaning mats, they legitimately are like an oversized mouse pad. And so I kind of thought it was kind of funny. I stopped and talked to the guy for a bit, and I ended up buying one. So this thing is pretty cool. It's called a gun rug. And it is a very, it's a product that's made, and he makes them himself by hand. And he kind of basically took everything that he said. He did some research, and he kind of studied some other gun mats and what worked well and what didn't work so well. So it's not too unlike at first glance many other gun cleaning mats that you see. There are compartments, there's cutouts, there's grooves, and there's area to put things and pins and tools so that they don't roll away. But the one thing about this one that I found is pretty unique that I liked a lot is that the texture of this one, it's like a poured silicone. And a lot of the other gun mats that I've seen, they kind of have textures and gaps and spaces that kind of hold crap, hold gunk, hold the carbon buildup that blows out. This one actually legitimately soap and water. You can hose it off my driveway. He was saying, you can put it in your dishwasher if you want to. I personally, wouldn't want to do it where I put food. However, or food items, right? So I thought it was kind of rad, kind of clean, neat that you can clean it, soap and water. It rinses clean. It rolls up nice. It has these these Velcro straps that kind of hold it together in like a little log, and you can kind of roll it away and put it away somewhere nice. It has little containers that you can put either your oil, your solvents, whatever chemicals that you're needing, and then there is a space in the mat to kind of stick your container so you're not going to topple over or fall over. And there's a little container with a lid, so you can put your little pins, springs, little tiny things that you just don't want loose. But I thought it was pretty neat that it had a place for everything and everything in its place. And there's even a little spray shield if you're going to be spraying something.
No, that's to keep Michael's springs from going all the way across the room.
Shooting those springs.
First thing I thought of,
needs to be
spring
about,
retainer.
Needs to be about 10 feet higher for my springs.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, you haven't even really done the review yet, and I'm already thinking to myself, how did nobody think of this earlier? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes so much sense right off the bat.
And where did he get this material? I mean, this is not stuff you get at Home Depot.
He makes it. No, it's not. I didn't really get into the weeds.
He had
on
to really
the
research
product.
out.
Yeah.
This.
You have the time. You kind of
because there's a reason it's all sticky.
Yeah, it's got a bit of stickiness to it, so your stuff stays.
Doesn't run around.
It's not going to roll around a whole lot. And I will tell you, because it's not that mouse pad type material, it's not going to hold all the stink and the funk. And I've worked with a lot of gun cleaning mats, the different gun shops that I work in, and some of them do hold the junk. You pick up that gun mat.
You have cleaned a gun on this?
Not this particular one, not yet. I've played with. I've taken my guns apart and laid them out in it just to see how they fit. So the way that it works is that it doesn't hold all the stink and the junk and on all the solvent and that the stickiness and the residue that a lot of other mats will hold on to when you use them. It does spray, clean, and wash out.
Are those grooves for like liquid to run down into the channel?
It's kind of like, when you barbecue, you got kind of those roll away spaces for all the crap to kind of roll out, not
that's really
sit and saturate.
You've got all your gun apart,
then
all of a sudden there is oil. You don't want to try to clean a gun that's laying in oil.
You shouldn't.
So he has these little grooves.
Less is more when it comes to oil. Unless you're Mike, I guess you're going to dunk it.
No, Mike used the dishwasher.
Hey, come on now. What
Seal one and frog lube.
Now, did they tell you what all of these little squares are for? Are in circles and squares?
Yeah, so different guns have different bits and pieces and parts. So
Okay, so he's just got it there for
So a little bit of
convenience.
everything, right? If you kind of look over on the left, there is a place for your slide. You've got your guide rod and your spring. You kind of have spaces for all the bits and pieces. Your barrel, everything will have a nick and cranny and a place to fit, so you don't have stuff rolling away or getting lost. Place
Did
to
you
put
get a
your
business
tools.
card from this guy?
He didn't know. Well, wait, I take that back.
Because that would be kind of
I might
fun
have.
to
I have a website for him.
But that would be fun to have him call in and explain how long did it take you to come up with it, and what caused you.
He was a pretty entertaining guy to talk to.
Well, I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he can sell you, I mean, he'd have to be entertaining.
Well, it was my favorite color. I wasn't a hard sell.
I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to go there. But no, I think that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So, if you're in the market for a gun cleaning mat, I will tell you, I normally, before this, to be honest, at home, I tend to use an old towel. Like I have a ratty old towel. It's outlived its days as a towel. And I use that as, that's kind of what I've traditionally have done. But, and then they eventually get retired to the trash. But no, this is kind of nice. And I don't have to, just one clean space to put everything.
And it's
soap
a
and water
nice
washed away.
treat for you.
It is.
Because, you
Yeah.
clean a lot of your guns.
There you go.
Right.
Because I'm a responsible gun owner.
Yes, you are. Michael, you need one.
I-
We'll get in a
I'm
different
looking at-
color.
Yeah,
for
right.
you.
What color should I get? Purple?
Yeah.
Green. Geniuses pick green.
I'm going to get one then.
There- yeah.
Touche.
It's going to get a green.
Oh, well, how much is it?
Yeah,
So,
what do we,
so the
what's the
so
cost?
the website.
What's the Alisha price?
So the Alisha price, you're cute. So as far as the pricing goes, so the website, let's go start with there. So the website is gunrug.com. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So gunrug.com, and when you go on their website, you're going to kind of get to pick your color, get to customize it. So I will tell you the gun show was a little bit better of a deal. However, now that the gun show is over, you purchase it online, it is $140. But it's something that you pick up. Now, Dave, you held it, you picked it up. It's heavy duty. It's not coming apart. It's going to last you a lifetime.
I don't think that's a bad
It's
price.
not
Gun
going
rug?
to blow away.
It's definitely not going to blow away.
That's about where I thought it was going to
So,
be
yeah.
as far as price.
Yep.
Gunrug.com.
That's the one.
Is he a local guy? Is he from San Diego?
Yeah, he's local.
Well, we got to get him on.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. I
Pretty
see.
local.
Okay. Oh, I see. It almost looks like it could be almost gun specific. Almost. I mean, see, this doesn't go there, so you mess that up. That goes over there because the gun goes right there.
There you go, Dave.
I'm looking at the
Way to
picture.
set me straight.
I'm
That's
looking at
it.
the picture.
I just want to see what colors it comes in.
That's what I'm looking for.
There is a
Whoa,
red, there is
there's
a
a-
red, white, and blue option.
Yeah. Oh, there's your green,
Ah.
There is. It's,
and then there's blue and red,
it's like a Tiffany.
turquoise and gray.
Gunrug.com. And we're not, by the way, we're not even, they're not, this is all free advertising. We're not, it's
Yeah.
not, we're not getting
I
paid to
just
do
thought it
this
was
or
pretty
anything.
rad. Yeah.
I
For
mean-
me, the big thing was I like the wash and rinse.
Mm-hmm.
So people, like I said, I'll do it in my driveway. I don't want to kind of put anywhere where food eventually will go or utensils will be.
Free shipping.
But there you go.
You can pretty much put any solvent on there, huh?
Absolutely. And anything can go in there. Yep. And the grooves are nice and deep. It's not going to run over ondir your table or anything.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got
I
the
thought it was
little,
cool.
the little groove down there for the ramrod, and you got the.
That's it.
Yeah.
All your tools.
So the little stand up thingy there, the little shield, is that for? That's
If you're
just
going to be
splatter?
like a ballast if you're going to have some kind of spray or some aerosol, it just kind of goes a little bit of a spray shield.
Oh yeah.
He thought it all.
Yeah.
He really did. All right.
Yep.
Well, cool. What's the guy's name? Do you remember?
I honestly do
Gun
not
rug.
recall.
Gunrug guy.
Gunrug guy. Gunrug.com.
Bob Gunrug.
There you go.
Well, congratulations. This is a very cool product.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put Rich on it.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Garcia.
Oh, there you go.
Jeff Garcia.
G E
Oh, there you go.
R A C I.
Rich did talk to him. There you go.
Have you talked to him, Rich?
Yeah.
He's going to be a new advertiser? Cool. Just double checking.
All right. Well, cool. What else do you want to say about it? What do you think, Phil? Would you get some of those for your?
I'm going to definitely get one.
Yeah.
Get a couple of them.
In green.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it seems to me like it would really solve a myriad of problems.
Things like
when
what?
you're cleaning your gun,
Yeah.
you can't get one,
Like number one, my gun's dirty.
and your shield's not high enough.
Yeah,
You
really.
You need at least.
I need like a
7 foot.
bubble. It just need. Do they have one that has a bubble?
Why is it that I can just imagine you going ting?
Yeah. Yeah. And that spring's just gone. Spring has sprung.
Only guy I know that has 27 springs for his gun alone.
Yeah. Just in case.
Looking around.
You never know.
I used to have 40.
Yeah. Now,
Everybody, listen, by the way, Everyone who has a 1911 knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, nice job.
Bane of
kid.
my existence.
Nice
Yes.
job. You could be the Vanna White of the gun rug. Hey, folks, a self-defense event happens in seconds. Did you listen to our interview a little earlier this morning or this evening?
No kidding.
In a time it takes to listen to this commercial, your life could change forever. And I pray you're never forced to shoot in self-defense. But if you must, then you must be ready. That's why USCCA exists. Because every responsibly armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need it, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. Get signed up with our friends, Adam Bendis. Give him a call today at 619-318-6803. Signing up is easy. Get the education and protection you need. Enjoy the peace of mind if you're ever in a self-defense incident. Call Adam right now, 619-318-6803.
And thank you, USCCA, for being a Gun Prom sponsor yet again this year. You guys are awesome. Okay, subscribe and win. If you subscribe to our email list, you might win some swag. All you got to do is go to gunownersradio.com and subscribe and then listen to Gun Owners Radio. See if you won. Okay, this week's winner is John Kavanaugh. John's the best. I've known John for years now. He's. I'm glad he won something. He's well worth it. Definitely has earned it. Hey, John, email prizes at gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt or your hat. And if you want a T-shirt, let us know what size. That will almost guarantee success. Okay, let's see. Announcements. Hey, Lead Talks. This is kind of cool. You know how like there's TED Talks, Phil? You've heard of TED Talks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to start having Lead Talks.
Okay.
How about that, huh?
There you go.
So every Monday, streaming over Gun Owners Radio's Facebook, we're going to have Lead Talks starting on July 8th. Lead Talks specifically, it's going to be about a half hour, 45-minute lecture on something from an instructor in San Diego. So you're definitely going to get an invite, Phil.
Oh, I'll be there.
We're going to kick it off on July 8th. It's going to run. It's going to start at 7 p.m. And all you got to do is sign on to your computer to watch. It'll be very cool and very interesting. We're kicking it off with Bill Deasy from USCCA. Figure that guy knows something or other, right? So let's see what he knows. We're going to give him a half hour to prove to us he knows something. So I love Bill. And then every single Monday we're going to have a new Lead Talk. And again, you're going to get to know an instructor from the Southern California area, San Diego, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino. And again, they're going to talk about something that inspired them, something that they believe in, some kind of principle. It's not just going to be like, hey, here are the 4 safety rules. It's going to be a little bit deeper than that, so that you can get to know some of the instructors that maybe you don't know and see what their philosophy is, and then hopefully go train with them. Because, man, I'll tell you, there's so many good things about San Diego, and one of the good things is how many great instructors we have across the county. Absolutely. Orange and Riverside and San Bernardino as well. So, Lead Talks, July 8th, 7 p.m. Where? Well, on your computer. All you got to do is go to our Gun Owners Radio Facebook page, and we will stream it live. Oh, Bill Deasy, his talk is going to be your personal self-defense journey, finding your why and how. So that's the title of his talk, your personal self-defense journey, finding your why and how. So make sure you're on the Gun Owners Radio email list to get the invitation. Go to gunownersradio.com/subscribe. Also, we're having a How to Clean Your Gun class on Saturday, July 20th. Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. It's going to be at American Shooters in El Cajon. It's hosted by our friends at Seal One. Thank you, Dwight. You're going to bring your unloaded and secured firearm. Attendees will get a Seal One cleaning kit, and that's a $40 value. The cost is $40, and it's $30 if you're a San Diego County Gun Owners member. So if you want to go learn how to clean your gun, that's on Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. It's at American Shooters in El Cajon. It's hosted by Seal One. What a cool class! I think we all kind of. I think that most gun owners. I'm going to be real vulnerable here, Dave. Mm-hmm. I'm going to really open up to you.
I don't know. I'm pretty scared.
I think that most gun owners just pretend we know how to clean our guns. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
I don't think we actually know.
I think you know.
I know how I do clean my gun. I don't know how you should clean your gun.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
I think a lot of us were kind of taught, and we maybe watched a YouTube video. I think that each gun's a little bit different. I'll bet you we either over or under lubricate our gun. So I think it'll be kind of cool to actually take a class where you're
going to take
learn. Well, I already know, Dave. I don't need this class, for God's sake. What are you talking about?
I'm impressed.
No, I think I am.
I think you should.
You think I should?
Yeah.
I think
Order your gun mat first, and you've got all the stuff. You get
There
your
you
gun
go.
cleaning kit, order your gun rug.
I'm going to be that
You're good to
nerd.
go.
I'm going to
I
show
like
up
it.
with my gun rug
That's
and
it.
my lubricant. And I'm going to bring like
And your coveralls.
I'm going to bring like a bunch of
with
different
all your patches on it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this outfit.
So it'll be fun. I don't know how to RSVP. Do they just show up, Rich, or do they RSVP or email us, or we don't know yet?
RSVP.
RSVP. So you email us, Rich. I don't think it says here unless I didn't read it right.
So do you get a patch for cleaning?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Just think of all the patches you get.
Exactly.
We don't need no stinking
I
patches.
know.
We're going to be sharing a link to register for the class.
Sharing a link.
And
Okay,
it's
so
also important to remember that everybody that goes to the class will also go home with a Seal 1 cleaning kit.
Yeah.
$40 value.
Yep, $40 value. We did. We talked about that. All attendees will get a Seal 1 cleaning kit, which is a $40 value. You do have to RSVP. Keep your eye on our email for that. But if you want to go, reach out to us. Let's make sure to fill this up. American Shooters out in El Cajon is a cool little shop too. So let's go support them and take a look at that shop. If you've never been there, it's a good opportunity to go out and check them out. So all right, well that'll be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Phil from Shore Shot,
What's up, brother?
how you like the show so far, my friend?
Oh man, I'm loving the show.
Good.
She's already sold me on my cleaning mat. I had to get rid of my rag.
That's it. Retire those old towels.
That's it.
Well, I love it when you come in. I love your business. I love Shore Shot and Oceanside. I think you do an amazing job. I can't tell you how many people. You're one of those guys where when you talk about Phil and Oceanside or Phil from Shore Shot, everybody just kind of goes, "Oh yeah, he's good." Like it's just kind of understood that you're a well-respected guy, and I think that you've earned that reputation.
I appreciate that.
So that's very, very cool. So I'm glad to have you on the show again. What are we after the commercial when we get back in the segment? What are we going to talk about? What would you like to focus on?
I'm going to talk about home defense.
Good.
Things that people need to concentrate on that. I think sometimes we get away from it.
Yeah.
And just think about the training that's required and how Phil needs to get closer to the mic.
Yeah. And I think you also should talk a little bit more about your simulator.
Oh yeah, definitely that.
Mainly because people, you're not on as much as we probably would like.
Right.
And if people realize you have an ability to train without spending an arm and a leg on ammo.
Absolutely. And now we have a mobile that we can go to them.
Wow.
Yeah, well, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how does that? Well, I guess we'll talk about it. Right?
Birthday party, parked in my
talk
front
about-
yard.
We'll talk about it.
Well, as long as it's not
All
too
you
much
need
light.
is a bread truck and make have a little party in the back.
There you go.
That's it.
Right halfway there.
Well, that'll be cool. I think home defense is top of mind for everybody. It seems like the worse the country gets,
Yes.
the more that this becomes less theoretical and more practical
Absolutely.
of a subject. I'll tell you. I was just telling. I went down. It's about 6. It's actually I was interviewing Kevin Faulkner downtown. And I decided to go to Dobson's for dinner, which is right by where Horton Plaza used to be. And I was walking back towards Little Italy, and it was like I was walking through a post-apocalyptic movie set. It has gotten so bad downtown, unbelievably bad. So when I say that this is more practical than theoretical these days, I sincerely mean it. Anyway, all right, so we're going to come back and talk to Phil.
Right here on. All right, hey. Not Me is for women, by women, and is designed to help women with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. And if you're a woman or you know a woman who needs help, have her sign up and we'll give her the help she needs. To sign up, just go to notmesd.org.
Awesome. So, Phil,
Yep.
we were just introducing you and home defense. Let's talk about it. What? How often do you hear about a lot of home defense situations from former students, or is it still thankfully fairly rare?
I've actually heard a lot more probably in the last 30 days, and I think that's
Holy
why.
cow.
It's well, one, somebody had their house broken into while they were away.
Yeah.
And it was just some of the things that they had the cameras and so forth, but they were 2-story, and they made that one fatal mistake. They had all the sensors on the windows downstairs, none upstairs.
Wow.
They got in through the upstairs windows. They didn't know anybody was in there until they got a notification off the cameras of the person's going downstairs. So where's all our valuables? 2-story house upstairs. So we teach somebody to say, hey, just don't put it downstairs. You got to have those sensors and protection upstairs as well.
Wonder how they got in. Is this a ladder or something? I wonder how they actually got into the upstairs.
They just climbed on the lower portion. How a lot of people have, maybe a
Lattice
patio
work or lattice work or a patio cover.
Got on there, went through a window, broke it through there.
Probably the window was open.
Yeah, and this one, I don't really know. I need to ask him on that.
Because, second story, little air coming through, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And so I was telling
Well,
people,
I don't think the media is covering home invasions. When's the last time you heard it on radio or TV that there was a home invasion?
They certainly don't cover defensive gun uses.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's
properly.
another thing, too.
No.
Exactly.
And if you have a CCW or if you have a USCCA, they're not going to bring that up either.
Right. Yeah, if everybody's safe and no one bleeds and
Yeah, that's not news.
yeah. If you stop a robbery, nothing happens. The only time people are excited when nothing happens is at a baseball game, right?
There you go.
A no-hitter.
Soccer,
Yes.
Soccer.
So talk about home defense. What's something that people need to know about home defense that maybe they're now? I think that's a good tip.
Right.
That a lot of people aren't covering their upstairs. But
Correct.
what are some other important things that people need to know?
I would tell you about it. It's just about the locks. Get a have right there, getting some good locks on there, deadbolts. And also the other thing is a lot of people put their locks on. They have these small screws. A lot of times the builders, they put them in there. And you know how easy it is just to push that door through. Go ahead and get those extended screws because it just makes it that much harder to get in there. Yeah. So you need
What
to
about a security door?
Oh,
Those metal ones?
metal doors right there. You got them. Have the security doors. Does it work on all of them? Some of them can have it, but security doors. I had one person said the HOA doesn't allow them, so I told them to do all the security with the screws, the bolts, and everything.
Yeah.
Have locks. For me, I know when my locks are open. I get notifications and everything. I can lock them. So if anybody's coming in and going from there, and
That's one of the easiest home security tips.
Absolutely.
Is I think that most screws that are actually holding the door in place are like an inch,
Barely
Right.
holding
Yes.
the door?
barely holding it.
barely holding it in.
You get
Put
like
in
a
those-
2 or 2 and a
Even three. Three's better.
3 inch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3. I have 3.
3 inch. I mean, there's an enormous amount of. It's exponentially better.
I got a Roddy.
And you got a Roddy.
3 of them.
Well, I get it. One of the
In
things
the house.
I used to teach.
That I don't feed.
What's the home defense NRA core? Anyway, one of the tips I like a lot is even if you don't have a dog,
Right.
hang up a bunch of beware of dog signs.
Yeah. Well, who was it? There's a guy at PB. If you go down on his window, it shows a target on the range.
Yeah.
And that's all it shows, and a center mass.
I used to have a speaker back when they had the MP3 players, before everything was on your phone.
Hearing it.
I had I had a cradle, and I would I'd either play a book on tape, so it sounded like somebody was in there talking, or I'd play a dog barking. So I'd leave the house and it'd just be like 8 hours of like a dog barking.
God.
So you did the Home Alone treatment where get your change, you filthy animal. Kind of.
Exactly.
That's it.
Hey, it worked. Never got robbed.
Yeah.
There you go.
So okay. So what else? What's
Do you
another?
go out to people's homes?
I have done
inspections?
that. Some people go out there, if they say, hey, come and check it out, I'll go and check it out, give them some suggestions on what they need to do,
Because I think it would be easier
Right.
to service the consumer if you could physically see
Right.
what they're, because they may forget that little window that goes above the bathroom.
Exactly. And
You'd be
people
surprised
have-
how many people can get through that.
Oh, yeah. I had a friend that they thought they were safe. They just had a small little window, thought nobody would fit in there.
Baloney.
And they came back. These people would use the restroom, ate their food, did everything, and then they put the alarm systems in.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I tell people is just sensors, get your alarm system. Notification that maybe even goes to, you can have it to where it goes to security company or law enforcement, but you got to be careful about it going off, and then those false alarms can cost you extra money. And just get habits. This is the biggest thing: habits. When you walk out the door, lock the door.
Right. Oh, yeah. Are
Close
you
the windows, turn the alarm, even if it's just going to be for a short little bit of time.
Or
And-
when you walk in your home, lock it behind you when you come in.
I do too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lock
Oh,
the other
absolutely.
doors.
Yes.
Because if you have a sliding glass in the bedroom,
Yes.
sliding glass in the dining room, and all you lock is the front door,
It doesn't do you any
it doesn't
good.
do any good.
It doesn't do you any good. So no, so I tell people, yeah, and we have the things right there, depending on where you are. If you don't have the AC, you have the sliding doors open so they can get some air, but have it to where if it's an entrance and notifications. Those are the biggest things, just a big awareness.
Well, and it's simple stuff.
Exactly. If things that you can put a film on your windows, so that if somebody does break it, it's not going to break it. It's easy. It's not going to make
won't
the entry
shatter?
as easy. Yeah,
Oh,
it won't
interesting.
shatter.
Yeah, I got all my windows are tinted
Yeah.
with that special
Same right there.
protector on
Really? So if you break the window, it won't shatter.
It just
makes
breaks.
it makes it even tougher.
Exactly.
And then you have to sit there and try to wrestle that stuff off.
Absolutely.
I never heard of that. That's a good tip.
But you learn something new every day, even from old guys.
Yeah, you can just get that at like Home Depot or something.
There's a lot of window tinting companies that'll apply
Oh, yeah.
to you. Home Depot. I could see you out there slopping that on your window. You'd have air bubbles as big as your head. It would never work.
I was asking it for people who do things
To do
themselves, not me.
Can you see him while they're trying to put this
I
on?
don't. Yeah,
It would fall over on his head.
I don't.
Be like doing the old wallpaper.
I don't DI.
Like a Three Stooges skit.
I don't do it myself.
You're not a DIY guy.
No,
I
I'm
make
a
a phone
hire a guy.
I make a phone call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
those are good tips.
one of the things that a lot of people don't do that I tell tips right there, know your neighbors. Because
Oh, yeah.
the reason I say this is, situations depending on your art. What if you have to leave your house?
Yeah,
It'd be
they'll watch
to be
out
able
for
to know
you.
who I can go
You
to.
watch out for you. You watch out
Exactly.
for them.
Exactly. And
What do you think it changed? Like you buy a house, it's just a track home. Let's just say a track home. I've had the last three I have. I went in and changed all the locks.
Absolutely.
I didn't rely on the guy that the
company that changed, they're supposed to change the locks.
yeah, but I mean, even still,
Right.
the locks they put in are not the most top of the line lock
No,
that
not
you're
at
ever
all.
going to run into.
Oh, no. Go in there, change your locks, get it to something that you're going to feel safe with.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And a big deadbolt.
Oh, yes. Always a deadbolt.
Yeah.
No, always a deadbolt.
But I like those security, I've got them on every the only one I don't have them on is a sliding glass door, but it's got I challenge you to try to break through that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a heavy duty.
Sounds like my type of person.
Well, I don't want anybody messing with all my stuff.
Exactly.
You got a lot of stuff.
Well, they need a tractor trailer to get everything out.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I can't get any more. I heard it on air. I can't buy any more stuff.
Yeah, more stuff. Well,
House is full.
I was gonna say, where would you put it?
I can't find any more places.
Maybe you do need somebody to break in, make some more space.
No. Then I'd have to
You
get
and I'll talk off air. We'll work something out.
Yeah, right. No.
Show up in a ski mask.
I would be a total new segment on Gun Owners Radio if somebody stole my stuff. I have an issue with people stealing things.
It's horrible.
It should be life in prison.
It's really violating. One time, I keep my Jeep wide open, and one time I went out to my Jeep in the morning and got in, and I think the door was kind of left open a little bit.
Ransacked.
It was kind of ransacked, but it's always ransacked. It's an old Jeep, you know what I mean? Like everything's already been stolen.
You don't leave anything anywhere.
And it kind of smelled like smoke, like somebody was smoking, kind of a dirty
You
smoke.
don't smoke.
But yeah, I don't smoke. But here's the thing, and they didn't steal anything. But I could just tell they had opened up the glove compartment and whatever. And it wasn't dirty, but it did have that smell. It is enormously violating.
Yes.
Like gosh, somebody
I'd have
was
sold it.
in this.
And you'd have been way ahead of the game.
I should probably, I wish he'd have stole it at this point. But it really is a horrible feeling.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, prevention. I think a lot of times when people, when gun owners think about home defense, they think about like, well, I'm going to get my gun and I'm going to pie the corner.
That's
and
the
I'm
last thing you want.
nobody wants to be in that situation. Nope. Prevention is really what you want
They
to
think they
concentrate
do.
on.
They think they do. They think,
Yeah, it's not.
I'll shoot him and then drag him in.
Nobody wants that.
No.
But they think they do or they want to. They think it.
Well, I think that's where Phil Simulator is going to be a great thing. Because here's the thing. You think about it as a concealed carry holder, you're going to be out in public. You don't draw and pull it until the moment that you need it. The reality is if something goes down in your home,
So we're going to talk about that in the next
You're likely-
segment.
yeah.
About his simulator.
yeah.
Or are you going to talk elections?
No, we're going to talk. We're going to continue talking
You
about
know,
this.
yeah, and in a home, you're likely going to have it out.
Oh, yeah.
Much more rapidly and readily so, and then you have to decide shoot, no shoot. Out in public, you've already made the decision to shoot before you even draw. It's a whole different mindset, and I think that's where Phil Simulator is going to be a key critical.
What do
thing
you
to train.
recommend? Where do you recommend people keep their guns? Do you recommend they just put it on their nightstand, or what are some recommendations you have?
Well, you know, it's a lot of different things I'm hearing different people. I always say it should be accessible, but inaccessible to kids and stuff like that. Right. Maybe biometric lock that you have access to right there. I've had some people where they have it in the nightstands, but it's secured right there.
Don't they have where you put your handprint on it?
Hand right there. It actually opens up your nightstand, then your lock and everything. Especially if they have kids. You know, me being by myself and
Have you seen those mantles?
Oh yeah,
You know, where the mantle drops down. Yeah. I mean, you know, and if it's up high enough, a kid can't get to it.
Absolutely.
It's all about protecting the kids.
It's all about protecting the kids, but also having it accessible for that event that you absolutely.
I don't want to have to tell the crook. Oh, hold on a second.
Let me go
I
get
gotta
it.
get my gun. Well, wait a minute. I gotta get. Do you know where the key is? Okay, I'll be right with you.
Exactly.
Hey, do you belong to an association, maybe a club, or some other organization, and you're wrestling with your marketing? Well, most organizations waste a lot of money on marketing because it's just so tough managing everything. Websites, social media, e-commerce, email, and the list goes on. Well, leave frustration behind. Sage Tree Fractional Marketing Department Services. They take care of everything. Planning, development, advertising, and more. Getting started is real easy. Give SageTree.com or go to SageTree.com. Click on the Schedule an Appointment button. That's SageTree.com and click on the Schedule a Call button now.
Okay, so let's talk simulator, man. Okay. You're in. First off, you're in Oceanside. It's called Shore Shot.
Correct.
Like the ocean shore.
Right. Played a little
play on words.
Play on words.
Yeah, I like it. So talk about your simulator.
Okay. Well, simulator actually something in my head 15 years ago. Yeah. Kind of knowing what it is, and then 5 years it kind of came into play. And this is what I found out why I wanted people to have a chance for the simulator. You know, we talk about, we go to the range, we learn our weapons, we even go through competitions so we can learn how to deal with stress. But what about that situation that we never want to get involved in, too? That's the one we got to get our mindset ready for and everything. You know, that decision making. I get a lot of people, they can shoot. I love it when people say, simulator? And I say, yeah, humor me, come on in. And we go through the regular shooting, the range shooting, multiple targets. And I said, now let's do some critical thinking. And we actually put them in a shoot, no shoot situation. And then it opens their minds and opens their eyes. Wow, I just shot somebody I shouldn't have shot. Or why did the screen go black or red? Yeah. I said, because you didn't shoot.
Because you got shot.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's not a mistake. It's a learning curve. You know,
that's one of the things I talk about. What you just brought up a really important point that people don't necessarily look at it from the other side. When I in the CCW, on the how to get your CCW class, I would say, hey, you know, do you know where you can and can't carry?
Right.
And they'd say, well, you know, HEMA, whatever. And I'd ask them to, you know, a series of questions like, can you carry at a retail store that says no guns? Can you carry at a post office? Can you carry at the DMV? You know, all these places. And I know a lot of people would think, well, if I don't know I can carry there, I just won't carry there. Okay, but what's the danger in that?
Correct.
What if that's the time? What if you could carry there and that's the time you needed it?
Exactly.
You know, and that whole like, hey, screen goes black, you know? So it's not like you can say, well, if I don't know they're a bad guy, then I just won't shoot. Okay, well, there's a danger there too.
Exactly.
Because what if they are a bad guy and you didn't stop the attack?
Exactly.
And now you're the victim. Yep. You know, and I think it's an important point to make. You know, because these are everybody. Your gun's a shield, not a sword. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, the other thing that's really good about what we do at the simulator, it's not just guns. We actually have it to where I tell people, I said, hey, chemical agent, pepper spray, and also tasers. They can actually practice with that as well. There are times, like I said, CCW I've had on duty as a security and otherwise. I've had the firearm, I've had the taser and the pepper spray, you know. But the key thing is the simulator actually gets to where they can avoid it. We have over 1,000 different scenarios, but guess what? We can do 7 different outtakes. Well, Alisha gets one, she has to shoot. Mike, I give you one, guess what? They don't shoot. But what we have is people.
But it's the same look. It's the same look, because I can't cheat and go, oh,
exactly.
I remember this level.
Exactly. And we've been doing that to a lot of the CCW renewals. They said, hey, I was here 2 years ago. I said, great. And then we get them to a new scenario. I didn't see that one before. Exactly. Yeah. And you talk about USCCA. I like their scenarios because they have it. You're driving. You're dealing with the transients. All the things that we deal with on a regular basis.
Dealing with the transients?
Oh, yeah, transients, you know, they asking for money.
Sure.
You know, how do you talk to them? And then the options, how about just leave? Not standing your ground for that situation.
Truly, I'm a big fan. I don't really talk about it a whole lot, but I'm a big fan of pepper spray.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, homeless folks, whatever, whatever the right term is for them these days. But you're not going to shoot them. I mean, probably you're not going to need to shoot them, but you might need to pepper spray them to get away. Because if they get too aggressive,
It's important to be proportional with your response, and when all that you have is a gun, it tends to come out sooner than it should, sooner than it legally is allowed to. Exactly. Pepper spray allows you to de-escalate before it gets to that point.
Yeah, and they're not either or. It's not like, well, I'll either carry a gun or pepper spray.
Carry both.
Yeah,
both,
well,
absolutely.
hopefully.
You should.
But they have different roles. There's probably a lot of overlapping circles.
Exactly.
But they're not. It's not an exact like either or. They have it's a very different tool. It's like a wrench and a screwdriver. Or a wrench and a hammer. I mean, maybe you can nail you can drive a nail with a wrench, but that's not really the right tool,
Right.
So maybe you can, confront somebody with a pepper spray, but it might not be the exact right tool for that situation. So it's not like it's not an either or necessarily.
Right.
I actually used to buy them a lot. I need to get more. I used to buy pepper spray a lot, and when I would go out to eat for lunch, I would put my keys and phone and pepper spray on the table, and inevitably the waitress would ask about it. And by the end of it, I would tell her all about pepper spray, and I'd usually leave it for her, And I've seriously given away dozens of bottles of pepper spray to waitresses across the county as above and beyond the tip, but still as a tip. I think there's not enough talk about that. So I'm glad to hear that your simulator incorporates that and trains on that as well.
Yeah, we're doing that a lot more. We're getting rid of so many people have been asking that you'll actually see it pretty soon that we're going to offer that pepper spray class. And like I said, they'll go out of there, and we like the pepper spray that we provide because it's got the same head as the law enforcement. So it's going to go 21 feet instead of this distance where most pepper sprays, they get too close. We want them to keep a distance. And the main thing we teach people right here, especially with the simulator, start using using the mouth to actually articulate. And we give them this acronym. It's not something I created. It's just kind of put on there. It's ATOM. First thing you do is you ask that person to stop. Basically say, get back. I don't feel comfortable with you coming up on me. Then you tell them. But when you tell them what's going to happen. Hey, if you keep coming at me, I will protect myself, or be specific. I will spray you. Mm-hmm. Third thing, give them an option. Hey, all you have to do is leave. Just get back. Let me go. And then if the threat gets there, whether it's pepper spray, taser, but you're also talking to those around, creating your witnesses. And then after all that happens, like we talked about before, first thing I want to do, get somewhere safe, call 911, tell them what happened, and go from there.
Wow. Okay. So ATOM, Adam.
Right.
Ask, tell, options, and what's the M?
Make. So ask the threat to stop, tell the threat to stop, give the option for the threat to stop. Unfortunately, they kept going, make the threat stop.
Wow. That's a good one. I like that. What brand? You said there's a particular brand that you like of pepper spray? Everybody's got their favorite. What's yours?
Well, what we
Do you
use,
remember, or?
We like Sabre. It's the same
Sabre, okay.
right there. And a lot of people don't know you can only carry 2.5 ounces or less.
Yeah.
So what we got, though, that's why we like the one we use. It's the one that has the same head as law enforcement that shoots 21 feet out. So, I mean, I'm not going to have to get close. I want people, my loved ones, all my loved ones have it. So
shouldn't let any threat into your zone.
Exactly.
That's it.
How much are they?
Real cheap. We get them for, I sell them for like $10.
Oh, wow.
You, for the longest time,
Yeah.
were carrying them around and giving them to waitresses.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying.
We were doing too. We were giving them to people because I would prefer a lot of people that need them to have them.
Yep.
Not trying to make a problem. No, I want you to be safe.
Is there anyone that you should not look into? I don't mean to badmouth another company,
Right.
but there
Any
are some,
dime store, drugstore.
well, there's good,
Yeah.
and then there's not so good.
You know, I'd absolutely say I haven't looked past Saber. I like them.
I know 2 brands that do third-party testing to where I would trust that they have in them and contain what they say they have. Beyond that, I personally haven't seen no evidence that they're legitimate.
Okay, what's the life expectancy of a container of pepper spray?
It depends on how you use it. I've seen them
last
up to
2 plus years.
They'll have an expiration date. I've seen them I've seen them valid for up to 3 years. The ones that I've seen, but check a good quality.
That's
company's
important.
Gonna have an expiration
my
date.
wife's got one.
Oh yeah,
she's had to have it 4 or 5 years already. Never used it.
I would say get another one.
Yeah, the capsaicin that's in it is still going to be valid. However, it may not have any of the propellant left, so it won't go. Yeah,
exactly.
I was not like, why doesn't Tabasco have? Like you'd think, right?
It just doesn't go 21 feet, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, the two brands that I found that I would trust would be Saber is one of them, and then Palm is the other one. And I personally like the deployment of Palm better. Yep. However, both Saber and Palm both are going to be legitimately
that's
great.
what she has. She has a Palm.
Yeah.
I used to carry Mace, like the brand. A lot of people, it's kind of like Band-Aid, you know, like it's Mace is actually just the company that makes it.
Mm-hmm. Are they still around?
I know, right?
I haven't seen them around.
What about tasers? Because the company that you buy a taser from,
high fail rate.
Yeah.
Is it a high fail rate?
Tasers can be, yeah.
Because I know they have if you buy one and you use it and you send the police report in, they'll give you a new cartridge.
Yeah.
You've been pepper sprayed, haven't you? Back when you were in the Marine Corps, didn't they make
pepper
it?
spray? That's like
they did it.
That's
for
a loaded
fun.
question.
Yeah, really. I mean, if have you ever been pepper sprayed by
worse than that in the Marines?
I've been pepper sprayed and I've been tased over 30 plus times. Why 30? I did it that many times, I don't know.
Jeez,
that's when he used to have hair.
That's why I lost my hair.
He lost all his hair. What was it that we used to use in the military? They put you in the tent.
OC spray.
Yeah, that was the pepper spray right there. Yeah.
The one that. I'm way older than you. This was back in the 60s.
Agent Orange?
No. I can't even. I honest to God, I can't think of what they call it. But they'd bring you in as a basic training.
No, that was the CS.
What was it?
The CS gas.
Yeah.
Yep. Just put your pepper.
It was like it was like the spit of a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something.
That was nasty.
Yes, it was.
You'd gag. You'd be gagging but they pull your mask off and
sing or whatever you had to do at that time.
It's phenomenally painful.
Very much so.
It's phenomenally
sticks
painful.
With you for quite some
I
time.
haven't been sprayed like that, but I actually had to pepper spray. I've told this story on air, but I've pepper sprayed somebody, and that person still lunged at me, and it got on my arm, and the next day it felt like a really bad sunburn all day.
Absolutely.
That's as close.
That guy was up on something for sure.
No, he wasn't. He
did you check him out?
He actually, I pressed charges and everything. He wasn't drugged up. Well, he was a little drunk. He was drunk. He was
you
all,
do a lot of crazy stuff when you're drunk.
He was all hopped up on Pabst Blue Ribbon, but other than that,
God, what an embarrassing thing to say.
One thing I wanted to mention, like I said, we talked earlier, is that we do have our mobile simulator, so we can go to people.
Talk about that. So how does that work?
Yeah. Basically, what there is just like it is up there. It's one screen, but it still has all the scenarios. In fact, the gun show we had in San Diego, we brought it there, and that's where a lot of people really got introduced. You get the same scenarios, one screen. You still have to interact with it, but we go to you.
What's
a birthday party?
Okay, is it like birthday parties, or like what's a scenario that you
birthday parties, training, whatever you want.
Oh wow,
business ownership. If you have somebody working at a 7-Eleven, have a simulator party.
There you go.
That's awesome, man.
I'm going to have one at my birthday this coming month.
See,
hey, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
In August or July?
July.
What day?
25th.
Yes, Leo. I knew I liked this.
So, Shore Shot, what's your website?
It's, now we got it right there. info@shoreshot.com. Make it real easy.
Info at Shore Shot.
SHORE.
SHORE.
It's always great having you out.
All right. Appreciate it.
Hey, have you been keeping your guns clean and lubricated the way you should? Well, if you have been procrastinating because cleaning your guns with traditional products is smelly and a pain in the you-know-what, then you should buy Seal One. Seal One is an all-in-one product that cleans, lubricates, protects your firearm. Clean your guns faster, easier, safer with Seal One. No more smelling like gas. Enjoy the confidence and peace of mind knowing your guns are protected with the best So buy some today at seal1.com. seal1.com. And a big shout out since they sponsor Stump My Nephew.
Dwight and Seal One, you guys are absolutely the best. Thank you so much for your support. I'm looking forward to finally learning how to clean my gun.
Hey, we'll get you a mat.
Yeah, really. So, hey, you know what we could do, Phil? We could get your simulator out. Here's what we need to do. We need to get your simulator to an event.
Yes.
And then we need to couple that with we'll rent a dunk tank.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And then we'll figure out like how, you know what I mean? We'll set up some kind of thing on your simulator.
Right.
And then, you know, if you don't get it right, then you get to dunk somebody. I don't know, we'll put Dave in the dunk tank.
Yeah, you're putting you in that dunk
You know how to
tank.
swim? I don't know how to swim.
I
Dave.
could swim. You don't know how to You do too. Don't start with that. We have to fill the tank up.
Just fill it with Seal One. You'll float.
Oh, there you go. Boy, you be clean as a
Who should we
whistle.
put in the dunk tank? I wonder who could we
Rich?
get? Oh, I like Rich.
Okay, then how about
We'd have to get like
how about Brendan?
like Todd Gloria. No,
Oh,
I
Brendan.
like Brendan. I'm thinking we should get somebody. I wonder if we could find
I'd
somebody.
put Todd Gloria in upside down.
I wonder if we could find somebody.
Stupid enough?
Well, you know what I mean? Somebody that we disagree with, but be friendly enough to kind of get the joke and come out and do it. Right. You know what I mean? Somebody like that. I wonder if we could. I wonder if we could do that. We'd have
You'll
to raise.
do it.
We'd have to raise money for like
A lot of money.
I don't know, baby seals who
Yeah,
have
something
cancer or
like
something. I don't know.
You'll
We'd have
do
to.
it.
I mean, it'd have to
You
be
know
like
who will
the
do it?
ultimate.
Let's just quit beating around the bush.
Who?
The blue-haired mermaid.
Nobody wants to dunk her though. She's so nice. I'd feel horrible.
Oh, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I think it'd be fun.
Fair enough.
I want to hear her giggle.
Okay.
I'm not worried about Dave. He can't hit anything.
Oh, you're right. But what am I going to say?
All right,
let's do it.
It's everybody's favorite segment. Stump My Nephew. Phil, I'm going to get you to. Do you have the? I'm going to get you to read the question too.
Okay.
So, if you send us a question that has to do with firearms trivia, and we read it on the air, we'll give you a hat or a shirt. If you stump my nephew, then we'll give you a special prize, which today it is tickets to Gun Prom. If you haven't bought your tickets to Gun Prom yet, and you don't have a really good question that'll stump my nephew, go to gunprom.com, buy your tickets today. Come on out and support a good cause while having a whole lot of fun.
How much are the tickets?
$175, and they come with a $100 gaming chip for you.
Guaranteed to win.
I didn't say that. Guaranteed to have a good time. How about that?
There you go.
Just show me a good time.
All right. Okay, Sam, you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Can't complain.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, so Phil from Shore Shot is going to he's going to read the question, so go for it.
Sure shot. The training people?
That's right. Yep.
All right, Sam, here we go. This is from Leo from El Cajon. He asked this. Before becoming widely known in the context of firearms, and what other applications was the bump stop concept originally used, and how did it function in that context?
This is a good question. I don't know this.
I don't even know this.
Leo from El Cajon, thanks for writing in. And Phil, thanks for reading the question. Other than firearms, what was the bump stock used for? I'm going to come right out and say I don't know this one, but I'll give a little background behind the bump stock technology, and maybe I'll be able to work my way sort of toward it.
Okay.
And I actually wrote about this in my most recent blog post about the U.S. Supreme Court decision that struck down the Trump administration's ban thereupon. Back in the early 2000s, ATF initially approved and then reneged and ended up classifying as a machine gun something called the Akins accelerator, which was kind of like a bump stock, but it had mechanical functions. It was spring-loaded, and so it would force the receiver and the rest of the firearm back forward, and thereby, even though the physical trigger itself was being activated multiple times, because it required no input from the shooter, ATF deemed the Akins accelerator to be a machine gun. So the question, how do we make this not a machine gun? Remove the spring, basically. And so a bump stock, a slide fire stock, is a hollow piece of plastic, and it facilitates the technique of bump firing. Does not enable it. It is already possible. It just makes it a little easier. so that the shooter can force the firearm forward against his or her trigger finger, thereby pulling it more rapidly. So that leads me to, my line of thinking is I wasn't aware bump stocks had been used outside of firearms, but that gets me thinking, what is something else that you would want to be able to actuate a trigger rapidly? And that gets me thinking some kind of construction equipment. Maybe not a nail gun, but the reciprocating action reminds me of a jackhammer. So I'm gonna guess some piece of construction equipment. I don't know, maybe a pneumatic drill. I don't know. I don't know. You got me. He's got me on this one.
This is gonna frustrate you because your answer, your answer is far more intelligent. Okay.
The real answer.
So the answer is, before becoming widely known in the context of firearms, the bump stock concept was originally used in the paintball and airsoft communities. In these applications, similar devices were known as trigger assist devices or bump triggers. These devices functioned by using the recoil of the paintball or airsoft gun to reset the trigger mechanism, allowing for a faster rate of fire without the need for a fully automatic system. The same principle was later adopted to firearms, leading to the development of bump stocks. I think your answer was extremely intelligent. I think it probably overthought it because it's almost anyway. Good question.
That's interesting. I'm not into paintball, so I didn't know about that. I'll have to look more into it. The way you described it, it sounds almost more like an FRT than a bump stock.
What's an FRT?
Forced reset trigger.
Gotcha.
Which is it's a drop-in trigger assembly that forces itself to reset, as the name suggests. We gun guys are not creative when naming products. I'm sorry, we're not.
Well, congratulations to Leo. You won 2 tickets to Gun Prom. Just email us and we'll get you all set up. Gun Prom is, again, October 16th. And go to gunprom.com for more details. All right, Sam, did you got a blog you want to promote, or?
Well, as I mentioned, I do have one up already.
Yep.
On SDCGO.com/blog or San Diego County Gunowners.org/blog about the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision striking down the Trump administration's ban on bump stocks. And in that, instead of doing what everyone else is doing and talking about Justice Thomas's reasoning in the majority opinion, I break down the dissenting opinion, kind of in the same vein as I did with one of Gruesome Newsom's speeches a while back. And I kind of pick apart, what is Justice Sotomayor arguing here? What's her reasoning, and how does that really hold up? And I point out some of what I see as poor reasoning on her part.
Nice. Good job. Awesome job, Sam. Thank you for coming on. Let's see if we can stump you next week, but awesome job.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet,
as
dude.
always.
Yep. So everybody check out his blog. It's actually very, very interesting and well written. Yeah. And the Sotomayor, he and I both agree. Read the dissenting opinions first, because then you'll really have a better understanding of what the majority is saying. He did a good job. So, but yeah.
Quick comment really quickly.
Yes.
Gun Prom,
Yes.
October 12th. You had made a mention of the 16th.
Oh, my
Don't want anybody
apologies.
mess it up.
October 12th. For accurate information, go to gunprom.com.
There you go.
That's like the second time, it
was the 16th of
minutes.
September last year. You've just maybe got that.
But I just messed up with Phil. I gave him a bad date too, on his. By the way, this just in on the 15th of July. Phil is going to be our second Lead Talk. So Lead Talk a week from tomorrow. Well, very first one will be Bill DC from CCW USA, and then the second one will be on July 15th at 7 p.m. And that's going to be our buddy Phil from Shore Shot here. So it's all free, by the way, too. You just get to look and learn, and it'll be a really cool way to get to know other instructors. So there you go.
Cool.
There you go. That was a good show.
Absolutely. Always good having you in, too.
Oh, man, I enjoy being here.
Yeah. Well, we try to have fun as much as possible and educate as best.
That's right, man.
What are we doing, 8 years now?
Almost. I don't even know.
Episode 412.
Oh, really?
It says on the paperwork.
We got to start
having a party.
412, huh? Okay, so 412
divided by 12.
412.
I just looked it up. We're close to 8. We're very, very close.
Well, how many years? What are there? 52.
Yeah, 42.
Right a month.
7.92.
Oh,
So it's almost
8 years is coming up.
Oh my God! And we're still married. No kids, but what the heck. Well, it's been a wonderful ride, and we're continuing.
So at 4. Wait. At show 416, that'll be exactly 8 years. We should do something cool, man.
Yeah, bring some food in. Come on, Alisha.
We
Step it up.
I'm on it.
We didn't talk about food.
No,
this
you're not
whole
bringing any food in.
Why?
Put the food on your mat.
I don't like what you eat.
Because it won't be like little chicken nuggets in the shape of dinosaurs.
Goat eyeballs and things like that. No. Hey, I'm just happy I finally ate salmon.
Yeah?
I haven't
Pretty
eaten
proud of you.
I'll bet the salmon wasn't very happy.
Dude, it was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah, it was all barbecue.
Oh, barbecued salmon?
I was at a barbecue
He was
contest.
judging.
I brought you nooskies.
Well, that's another story.
Remember when I used to make brats? Maybe we'll have
I
some
know.
brats.
Well, you haven't done that.
We'll celebrate our 8th year with some brats.
All right, let's do that.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.